and see the new features that have been brought with the new release. So the first thing we're looking at is what we call ArcGIS notebooks. ArcGIS notebooks is now integrated into ArcGIS Pro. So basically you can perform your analysis and immediately view your results in a geographical context, interact with the emerging data, document, automate your workflows, and save a notebook and share it with others. What you should also know is that ArcGIS notebook uses include data cleaning, we have transformation, numerical simulations, statistical modeling, machine learning, administrative tasks, and much more. So let's just see how it's applied in ArcGIS Pro itself. So here I have my ArcGIS Pro. What you should also know is that, or if you might be wondering what these ArcGIS notebooks really is. So ArcGIS notebooks provide a Jupyter notebook experience optimized for spatial analysis. Jupyter Notebook here is an open source web application that allows you to create, and you can be able to share your documents that contain live Python code, visualizations, and narrative text. So you can pretty much combine industry leading spatial analysis algorithms with the open source Python libraries to build precise spatial data science models. Reduce time spent managing dependencies, again across all data science ecosystems, and increase cross-team collaboration and transparency in the end or within your organization. So what you see on the screen is ArcGIS Pro, those who are not familiar with it. And here I have a tab open, and this is more so on the notebook. So how do you approach notebook? If you go up at the tabs in ArcGIS Pro, we have the Insert tab. When I click on it, I have a feature just highlighting it, written New Notebook. Now when I click on this, I am able to create my notebook and get started. So this, I can call it, sorry, what's new? And then just save this information. When I save it, it stores this information in the same path, and then on my catalog window I can see it on my right written what's new, and then all I have to do is right click on it, and then I just say open notebook. Now the good thing with this, we can run, as I said, work with your Python codes, do visualization, do your analysis, do much more. For instance, let me just see, I can try and get or pull public information from ArcGIS Online. So let me just type this here in this line, and then I run my code, and then from here I can see it's displaying all my data. Another way, apart from you adding or creating your notebook, you can add the ones that you've already worked with before and process from there. And it's as easy as I go to my notebooks just on the right, and then I say add notebook. I scroll to where my notebooks are, or the one that I want to access. So I have a few samples here. That's what I'm going to try and load one. So here I have analyzing violent crime. If I do the adding on my right, it's actually been added automatically. And then again, to open it, I just right click and then I say open notebook, and from there I can be able now to see information on the codes pertaining to it and run this script with my data. So you have to have your data pre-existing, and then all you have to do is run it. So those are notebooks. Something that you should know is that all Python functionality is available through ArcGIS notebooks. To view this, just go to here and Python. I can see the Python. So this includes core Python functionality, the Python standard libraries, ArcPy, ArcGIS API for Python, and third-party libraries such as NumPy and Pandas are also included. Here we go. So the Python environment can also be extended with open source libraries, making ArcGIS notebooks in Pro to be a united platform for data science workflows. There we go. So that is the notebooks. Let's proceed to other features. So we were looking at notebooks. Now let's look at something new, which is networks. The network dataset creation. So this release, we have added a geoprocessing tool, which is the create network dataset that creates a minimal network dataset. So network analysis functionality requires that you must have a network dataset first of all before you can actually proceed. And this is made from existing line and points feature sources, like you have roads to be able to work with this. And then when you once have created your network, you can then go ahead and modify the properties by adding more attributes. We have historical traffic and direction settings. So I want us again to just view this in a demonstration. Here I have again ArcGIS Pro, opening my ArcGIS Pro. What I've loaded is a base map. I'm going to go straight ahead and add my data. So through my DB on my right catalog pane, I access my data. I have a San Diego data here. And then transportation. From here I have streets, I have signposts, attractions, walking paths. So I'm going to just drag and drop this information, the streets. And then I'm also going to drag the walking paths so we can view this information. Let me just scroll. Too much data. Now, to be able to create a network from this, it's as simple as I'm going to the analysis tab. I'm going to access my tools, and then I can do a search. So, which is create network. So here we can see it's a create network dataset. Just click on it. Then from here, I can now proceed to insert my parameters. It's taking a bit of time, but basically this is just the procedure. Add your data, ensure that you are having the right attributes again, because apart from just making your initial data set, it's the attributes or the field data that will actually mean a lot and make sense to you in the end. So here we have the target feature data set, which was transportation. So again, under databases, transportation, okay, and then I can give it a name. So I can say road network, for instance. And then from here, my source, I'll first start with the streets. Elevation fields elevated search, and then I click on run. So this one is actually showing me how it's processing and the percentage. And when it's done creating the network dataset, you'll view it in the catalog window under your. So it's completed. Let me just close on this. Here we have catalog. So here it has actually created for me the road network. It's as simple as such. On to the next features. Mapping and visualization. First thing we have is ArcGIS Maps for Adobe Creative Cloud Extension. So this is basically a new export type, the Adobe Illustrator Exchange.AIX, the format that is used with the ArcGIS Maps for Adobe Creative Cloud Extension. So why this? The ArcGIS community has long requested that we bring the ability, we have the ability to bring maps from ArcGIS Pro into Adobe Illustrator. Now with the extension available, vector and raster map content is converted now into editable layered artwork for an improved editing experience in Adobe Illustrator. You can now export as a map or layout directly from ArcGIS Pro to an Adobe Illustrator Exchange file format. Then you can be able to use now the AIX file. Again, this is the Adobe Illustrator Exchange file, AIX file format, with ArcGIS Maps for Adobe 2.0 above version to convert again a map into a layered artwork for use in Illustrator. And then once open in Illustrator, the file can be used for high-end graphic design or map finishing workflows, and then migrated across Adobe Creative Cloud applications. So that's one of it. Now, I won't be able to go through a demonstration of all the highlights, but I'm trying to actually show you what you'll be capable of doing in ArcGIS Pro. Now, apart from that, we have what we call use color management. Now, with the new version, with the new ArcGIS Pro 2.5, version, which provides the color management settings to ensure that colors are rendered consistently across all the devices. So this basically ensures that the colors you use in your maps, your scenes and layouts appear consistently across all devices. For instance, if you're working on a different monitor, when exported to a PDF, or when you do printing of the same. Now, without color management, something you should notice that the devices that display your work do their best to approximate your chosen colors, but getting faithful color matching is quite unlikely. So what color management actually does is guarantees you an exact color matching, but ensures that the fidelity of the color is maintained where possible throughout your workflow. I'm going to show you in a bit, but it's as simple as you enable the color management as an application setting from the options menu in the settings page. And then from here, you can now set the color management policy that is applied to newly created maps, layouts, reports, and styles. You can also specify color conversion rules to determine how colors are rendered as they're moved from one of these items to another. Something else we're looking at is symbology. Chart symbology. So what's new about these charts? Now charts, as you know, charts can be used as multivariate symbology in ArcGIS Pro, basically to show you the quantitative differences between attributes, with each part of the chart representing an attribute value that contributes to the overall whole set of the values. Now, chart symbology has been added for all vector data. This includes the points, lines, and then we have the polygon features as well. So the chart symbology again can be pies. We have bars or stacked bars where each part of the chart represents one attribute value, and collectively the parts of the chart contribute to an overall chart symbol that can be of fixed size or have the size determined by an attribute. Then we have styles. So styles are project item containers that store your symbols, color schemes, label placements, and layout items. So there are new styles that have been added in ArcGIS. So let me just show you, first of all, a demonstration on, let me close one of these. So I want us to work with the chart symbology. Now here is my base map. And then I want to view my data actually in using the, sorry for that error, using my symbol, sorry. So I have data, sorry, for Kenya. Let me just load it. Yeah, this is county population, so I'm just going to drag and drop this here. So this is county population for each of the counties. Now I want to view this data between a comparison between male and female for each of the counties. So how can I go about this? So it's as simple as going to appearance, and then here under symbology I have charts. So I'm going to select charts. It's supposed to respond on my right. Then yes, here it is. Right now, as you can see, we already have bars, but now let me set the preferences that I would like. So here we have charts, yes. Now under the chart type, we have bar chart, we have pie charts and stack chart. Now I'm only representing two of the information or descriptions that I actually prefer of the factors. This is male and female. So I prefer actually a bar chart as opposed to a pie chart. Now the fields I'm going to take is male, and then the other one I'm going to take is female. There you go. I can even go about and play around with these with colors if I'd wish. Whichever color pleases your eyes. Or you can go to individual symbols and change each of the symbols individually, depending with your taste or what you find cartographically right. So anything can do. So after I've done that, now I can be able now to see. Now from my map visually, I can already tell this is Nairobi, having the highest number of population, male and female, quite at par. Then we have other counties, and we have, I can see Kakamega, we have Bungoma and all this. So I can visually or quickly interpret this. So this is a new feature. I know if you've worked with ArcMap, you've seen it before. Now the good thing, this is already being included in ArcGIS Pro. Now we also have styles. New styles have been added. And I'm going to go to 3D. Mostly on 3D section. So we have 3D infrastructure. We also have 3D creation. Now to be able to view this, let me just click on my symbols, and then we can do a search. This is the symbols, and then from here, as I said, we have infrastructure. Then all styles, I can see data. The symbols pertaining to 3D infrastructure. We also have 3D recreation. There we go. So we have symbols for that. We also have extra symbols, which include, such as you can see here, are airplanes and all that. Now for you again to visually see this, it's as simple as, let me play around. This one was transmission poles. This one I know is in infrastructure. Let me take a power pole. So by clicking on a power pole, it should apply the symbol. So to visually view it properly, let me increase the size to something around like 5. This is a graphics warning. If it realizes or picks up on any graphic changes, I know it tells you to, or gives you a warning about the cell. So I'll just ignore it for now. There you go. So these are the symbols and how to work with it in ArcGIS Pro. Now I think we can proceed. Let me just close this because I'll not be needing it, and then we can proceed. Now the next is the layout. Whew. Okay, let's just give it a moment. Oh, something you should also note, apart from layouts, we've got tables. So you can now search your tabular data to find specific values. So before proceeding to layouts, let me just show you again how this one works. Tables again. So as I said, you can now search tabular data to find specific values. Click. The first thing is you click on the table menu again to access or find the tool that you need. Now, before getting there, the first thing I'm going to do is actually load appropriate data. This was county data. Right now I don't need it, so I think I can just remove that, and then the symbols too. Then I'm going to add my data. Here, let me just search for appropriate data very quickly. Let me take something like, for instance, health facilities. Quite many. Now, how do I work with this? So let me take a scenario that I want to find hospitals that are within Nairobi, a specific hospital. ArcGIS Pro has now made it easy to do this. So I open the attribute table. Here I can see all my data. So we are used to taking a column, for instance, and then you can sort it ascending or descending. Or if you want to search for a specific one, then you have to go to select, or you search, select by attributes, and then you do your search to be able to select that specific facility. But now, as I said, it's easy. Again, just as I was trying to explain it to you earlier, you click the table menu. This is the table menu that I've just clicked, and then you go to find and replace. So here it is. Now the first thing I can search, maybe let me just do for Nairobi, and then search this. So on my right, it tells me the number 1 of 15. So it has actually found 15 names or facilities that have Nairobi in as part of their details. So here I can search all of them, or I can also have the option of just select these matches, what matches the same, and then here it highlights for me. Now there are also great feature that has been brought into ArcGIS Pro is that I can freeze a specific column, just like the way we've been working in Excel. Now I want to view probably details of a specific, let me say this, juvenile. Now I can first of all lock a specific field, and here it is, and then from here I can say freeze, and when I freeze it, it goes directly to my left, and then I can be able to scroll. So I know if I'm scrolling, all these details is tied to a specific facility. So that's one great feature that has been added also in ArcGIS Pro. One thing also we should know is about reporting. Layouts, working with layouts in ArcGIS Pro. Now here I have a map. Let me just open it. Mount Kenya. Let me just drag it up here, and then let me close this because I don't need it. And I want to make a map out of this. Now, the best way of going about this is going to insert, and then from here I can make my layout. I can choose the portraits that I want. But now the good thing about ArcGIS Pro, right, 2.5, it has brought a new feature where you can be able to pick a pre-existing layout and use it. Now, before, somebody had already created one layout with putting in mind that is physical features, especially mountains, and it was Mount Kenya specific. And to be able to do this, all I have to do is go to the import and bring in the layout. But first, the first thing you should ensure is that you have set the path to the map layout connection from the project tab, and then I go to options, I go to layout, and then from here I can change the path. This one is usually fixed, but I can change the path. So this is where I want it actually, and then I say okay, since it was already prefixed. Actually come to import, and then I say import the layout. So here it's actually importing my layout. There you can see. Let me just finish loading. Yeah, so here I have Mount Kenya on my left, and then have some descriptions on the right, but I actually don't like the way it's appearing. Now, what has also been added to this is that I can be able to change or play about the graphics that have been brought into this. So for me to work with this, all I have to do is select the graphics that I have. I go to the format. From there, I'm going to click on edit vertices. Let us just give it a minute for it to load. There it is, and then I say edit vertices. So I want to clearly see this mountain. Now let me just play around with this. I can add a vertex here, for instance. Let me push this here, and then let me have that there. I'm satisfied, then I just check on this, let it apply. Sorry. Yeah, so there we go. So let me click outside. You can be able now to see, and then I can be able now to add my other factors, all the things that I need within my map. So the big thing that has been brought with ArcGIS Pro is the editing of your graphics and importation of other layouts that have been used. We also have reports that have been brought into ArcGIS Pro. Now, when you have your data, you've uploaded or displayed your data on a map and you want to get a report out of it. Yes, it has been possible before, but the new feature that has been added is feature image attachments. Now, feature image attachments can be added to the details section, especially of a report, as a new element. So geographic features can have attached picture files associated with them, and now these images can be incorporated with your report. But you should not only the first image attachment is included in an attachment element, but again, you can configure it to show additional attached images. So I'm just going to show you how this is achievable. Here I have reports. I have floods. So my scenario here is that I have floods data. Let me again drag and drop this. And I want to create a report of a specific area. So let me just select one at random. Here it is. I can view the attributes. So this is one way. You can view the attributes, houses that have been flooded. This is the description. So geometry, attributes, geometry, attachments for each of these. Let me just close this. Now I want to bring a report for this specific area. How do I approach this, or how do I go about it? So this is as simple as going to insert. Then from there I click on my new report. Click on new report. On my right, it's loaded. So floods report, yes, the data source is floods, and then it tells me a step-by-step of how to go about it. So just go to next. This is page 2, and then it tells me to select the rows that I actually need. So I don't need all rows, I just need selected, which is the ones I'm checking right now. A description, the latitude, longitude, yes, I really need that. The area, I need to know the number of injured deaths in my report. After I'm satisfied, I just go on next. Then here I'm told to organize my data, so I'm not going to group it right now. In summary statistics, I'm going to avoid it right now, but if you have statistics you'd like to do some summary of, you can also add that if you have a field existing. I'm going to go to next. Then here is where I design the report. Now in the display, here we have attributes lists or basic summary, that would be all page per feature. I prefer page per feature. The styling, black and white, cool. Warm tones, let me take on warm tones. And then here I can change the page units. Let me leave it as default. Then the page size, I need it in an A4 paper. Here we go, orientation, and everything is done. So I say finish. So when I'm done, here's the floods report. Now it's for me to customize it to my liking and how I actually wish it to be. So here I have the details section, where I was talking earlier, I said you'll add your feature attachments in the details section. So let me just format this a bit. Let me increase my size to something like 120. So you can be able to play around with how you'd wish everything to appear on your page. You can add a title, like here we have the area name, so I can configure that this is where I would like, or more possibly change my information to display. So changing all this will take a bit of time. Let me just do a quick drag and drop here, and then for the area name, let me delete this. So I need the name of the area up there, the injured, and then the description just right here. I think that's okay. And then from there, this is going to 9. This should be. So when I'm done with this, I go to my insert, and then from there I go to attachments. Then just do that to add my attachment. When I'm satisfied, I go to share and then export it as a PDF. So this is a flood report. You can change your DPI if you wish, whatever suits you best. So this is the flood reports. Here it is, and then I just say save. So it's exporting my report. We'll have it in a short. There it's opening. So you can see a sample of what a report with an attachment actually looks like. So there you go. As you can see, I made changes to the title, the latitude, longitude, and I have the injured, I have the description. So if you have more fields, just play around with how you want your report. And the good thing, as I said, the new part is that you have your images. So I've actually talked about layouts. Layouts where I did show you that you can be able to edit the vertices of a graphic or a map frame on a layout. So it's a matter of just selecting the graphic and then you choose the edit vertices, and then from there you can move, add or remove the vertices to the selected graphic and set it according to your liking. Now the layout files again are available in the import layout gallery. As I said, instead of you working from scratch, you can be able to import your layouts into ArcGIS Pro. Now the bit of sharing your work. So sharing your work, so you can be able to, well, first of all, you can replace a tile layer in your ArcGIS Online or your ArcGIS Enterprise, that is 10.8 portal. And this extends the functionality introduced with ArcGIS Pro 2.4 to replace vector layer tiles. If you've published your layer tiles, you can be able to replace the same. Then we've got another feature that has been added with respect to sharing work. We have standalone tables that can be shared to ArcGIS Online or to your ArcGIS Enterprise 10.7 or later version. Portals with the share as a table command, and then once shared, we host the table. Items can be overwritten with the overwrite table command. I'll show you that in a while. Something you should also note, we have the analysis and geoprocessing tools. Now I'm going to talk about it in general. Now geoprocessing tools can be scheduled to run at a later time or with recurrence. I'll show you in a short while. Then other thing that you should also note is that functionality has been added in terms of other extensions. We have business analysts, in cartography toolbox, your conversion data management toolbox. So depending on what your interest is or where your interest lies, you'll find that some feature has been added. Again, we're trying to improve Pro each day, each night, so that it can work for our users out there. The also big thing that has been added is what we call the deep learning toolset. Now, several deep learning capabilities have been provided, and the most important improvements that you no longer need to leave your ArcGIS Pro to train your model in the deep learning framework. You can install Python packages. We have Keras, fast.ai. This is sort of packages for ArcGIS Pro for deep learning frameworks for you to be able to work within the ArcGIS Pro environment. Now, the two new deep learning geoprocessing tools that have been added are: one, classify objects using deep learning. And then we also have train deep learning model. So classify objects using deep learning basically runs a deep learning model on an input raster and an optional feature class to produce a feature class or table in which we find that each input object has a class label assigned. And then the train deep learning model, this one trains a deep learning model using the output from the export training data for deep learning tool. So let's just explore what I've just talked about. The first one more so was with the sharing your work. Let me just uncheck my data, and then I'm going to add an Excel sheet. So add data here, and then I'm going to pull an Excel sheet. Yeah, let me just pull this at random. So here I'm showing you the capability of which you can be able to share standalone tables to your ArcGIS Online, or if you do have portal for ArcGIS Enterprise from 10.7 and above, all you have to do is go to the share as a table command. Here I have from our school. Let's say okay, so it's added on my right. Here I have. So I just want to push it automatically to ArcGIS Online. Sharing, and then I can share it as a table. So initially when you had your data, your feature layers, and then you bring in your tables, it was difficult to actually it wasn't there. You weren't allowed to push it exactly from ArcGIS Pro environment to your online, but now it's there, so you can be able to push it directly to you ArcGIS Online. Then again, with regard to analysis or geoprocessing, the fact that you can schedule. So for instance, you say, hey, I have some work, but I don't need it to run it right now. I can do some scheduling. Yes, you can do the scheduling. So here I have schools, so I'm going to do a very simple analysis, such as, let me just close this. So again, tools, and then I'm going to take something like a buffer. So first of all, it tells me health facilities, the output class. Let me just write it very fast. Okay, let me leave it there. Then the distance value, maybe 2 meters. Now the feature is actually here. When you, before you press run or execute, when I click the down arrow, I can be able to schedule it. Clicking on the schedule, I can say yes, here one time the task, the beginning on, sorry, I can set it to daily, weekly, monthly. So if you have a task within your organization and you think it should be done daily, you can schedule it to be able to run. Maybe you're getting data from the field, and instead of you having to sit down on your machine, do the whole process from scratch, just set it that it should run repeatedly every day, for instance, every morning or weekly on a Monday, and then you can schedule that information. So that is it with my presentation. Here are some resources that will be available for you to be able to find out more and more with regard to ArcGIS Pro. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach us, and we will answer all your queries. With regard to that, thank you for participating and thank you for joining for today's session.